Yeah. All right. Is it on? Okay. We're back this week, guys. Do y'all have any questions about the stuff we covered? Josh? Right? Were you able to watch the videos? Okay. Guys, we covered a lot of stuff last week. A lot of material. Good stuff. We're using it? Don't lie either. No? That's okay. Don't lie. When I ask you something, don't lie. But I mean, guys, I'm not kidding when I tell you, use this stuff, okay? Because it's only going to help you, okay? I get paid whether you learn or not, so that was supposed to be funny. Not very good. It's too hot in here to be funny. So anyway, use the stuff, guys. I'm telling you, it's only going to help you. The hyper keys, holy cow, with that. You know, the movements, use those movements. You know, like I told you, use the flashcards, whatever you need to with your family. Get your family, you know, if your dog can bark out the whatever. I mean, just somebody to...
You're right, it is too hot in here to be funny.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't even be funny then. Whatever it takes, okay? Whatever it takes. But you need to use them, okay? Y'all have any questions about the stuff that we covered? No? Yeah.
I feel like we'll get into it more later, but I don't fully understand like global, really.
Global? Yeah, we haven't gotten to it yet, and that's going to be really good. That's, I mean, and
I really like the global key. That's the main one.
yeah, I mean, because you really need to start putting stuff in your dictionary. What speed are you at right now?
100.
100? Oh yeah, you should be putting a lot of stuff in your dictionary right now.
I usually use Control D, but I don't know if global is easier.
Control G?
Control D.
No, global is easier because you're writing. You know, and if you hear words, they're both really good, okay? So if you go into Control D, I'll just show you right now. This is what it brings up, okay? So remember how I told you guys to put it in there? You know, if you hear a word and it's like, oh yeah, it's, S, no, sorry, K-Y-R-R-D. Y'all know what that is?
No.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay? So you just heard that, whatever, it's like, oh yeah. So you just heard that, so, oh yeah, do what I'm doing. Okay? So if it's not in your dictionary, do what I'm doing right now. Okay? But for those that already have it in their dictionary, this is the way that you put something in. Okay? So YRRD, I'm just showing you this real quick just because it was asked. I think it's important. We're going to get to it later, but we'll cover it later also. Okay? So you know what the stroke is. Okay? Push OK. Now it's going to bring up this box. Well, what do you want? What do you want it to be?
Number 1.
It already knows. Okay? So if it's a global entry that's used by everyone or StenEd or whatever, it's probably going to come up as one of these. So what do you type in?
1.
If somebody says beyond a reasonable doubt, it's getting one of these. All you have to do is push 1. That's it. Already puts it in there. So it puts it in blue right here because it asks you, are you sure that's what you want? You're positive? Because if not, we can just start typing and then it goes away. You see? Okay? So I'm going to get out because I'm not typing that. Control what to get into add a steno stroke? Control D. K-Y-R-R-D. Remember? Or not. One.
Enter.
So you see a lot of things on the screen here, right? All you need to be worried about is 1, is it spelled correctly? Yeah, if it gives it to you as one of the examples, more than likely it's going to be spelled correctly. But you can always go in and check the spelling if you want to by pressing spelling. Really all you need to worry about, if everything is correct, is right here. That it's in your main dictionary. Okay? Be careful with some of the stuff that you're putting in your dictionary if you don't want it in your main. Okay? You do want it in your main, so all you have to do is press enter or OK, and now it's in your dictionary. That's it. Okay? Now, one thing that I'm going to show you is that, let's just say we're right here. Okay, you're in hyperkeys. And I'm getting way ahead, guys, but I'm telling you this because I think it's important, okay? And it was brought up by one of the students. When you're in hyperkeys and you push global, which is
To add to your
global
G.
G, see what it does? Automatically brings it up. Good, bad. Good, because it already brings it up, it already tells you, look, this is what it is. Bad, because it only highlights one stroke. Okay? Pay attention. It only highlights one stroke. Okay? So if it was managing conservatorship, okay? Well, that's my brief for managing conservatorship. Managing conservator, I'm sorry. But it was managing conservatorship. And let's just say I do ship in another stroke. Well, now you can't do G. Okay? So now what you need to do is escape out of there. Where'd it go? There it is. So now you have to do, pay attention. You should have your pens ready. Control G. Control G, and you just keep doing Control G for however many strokes you need. Got that? So if it's more than one stroke, it's Control G. If it's one stroke and you're in hyperkeys, it's G. Got it? This is yes.
Yes.
This is no. Yes?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions about that? Very good. You're tired or hot?
Hot.
Okay. Any questions about that? Putting stuff in your dictionary, blah, blah, blah. We're going to get to the other stuff soon enough about putting it in a job dictionary, a trash dictionary, stuff like that. But this is stuff that you want in your dictionary. You know for sure you want it in your dictionary, okay? Got it? All right. Okay. So now we're just going to go back to the lessons. Any questions about globaling stuff, putting it in your dictionary real quick? No? All right. Help, lesson player, oops, delete. How do we make it larger? Louder.
Control Shift F7.
Control Shift F7. Got it? All right. So now, and we've kind of talked about it already, but now we're going to talk about the oops and delete keys. Okay? Put attention.
Let's see how the oops and delete keys work. The oops key can undo editing steps. The command is Control-Z or hyperkey Z. For example, if I add a suffix to specific and I pick the wrong one, I could use the oops key to undo my mistake. I like to think of the command to move back to my last edit point as a movement oops key. The default speed key is Shift-Alt-L, but the hyperkey is capital Z, that is Z with the Shift key. If I accidentally give a command that loses my editing spot, and perhaps...
So do you understand what they're telling you there? Now the Shift Z, the capital Z, is go back to your edit point, your last edit point. So wherever you were editing or whatever, it'll go back to that last editing point, okay? So don't just keep pushing Z hoping it's gonna go back there and it doesn't. So if it doesn't, then push Shift Z, okay? But the oops key is what? Z, just Z. What's Alt Z? Are you talking to yourself? What?
Alt Z is to turn on your hyperkeys.
Dale volume. What's that?
Alt Z is to turn on the hyperkeys.
Alt Z turns on your hyperkeys. Remember? This is yes.
Yes.
No. All right. So it's just Z or Shift Z for last edit point.
opens a dialog, I'll immediately press the escape key and not do any further editing until I've pressed the movement oops key. To delete a whole word, just press hyperkey.
I'm going to go back a little bit.
If I accidentally give a command that loses my editing spot and perhaps opens a dialog, I'll immediately...
Remember what I was telling you? And it's going to happen. It still happens to me every now and then. I'm just going so fast that I press something and all of a sudden I'm at the end of the document and I'm in a fill in the blank. You know, at the end of the document. Don't freak out. Escape. Z, 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 however many times. Usually just about 2. Z will get you out of whatever the thing is here. It's going to get you out of here by escaping. It's going to get you out of this box, and then you're going to stay in this area. Z gets you back into something else, and then Z should take you back. Better not just keep pushing Z. So it may take a couple of times. Okay?
Press the escape key and not do any further editing until I've pressed the movement oops key. To delete a whole word, just press hyperkey D or speed key control backspace. Here I doubled this word. I'll delete it. To delete one character at a time, press hyperkey capital D.
Remember that? We went over it last week. D is what? Shift D. D is what?
Delete the word.
Delete the word. Shift D is what?
Delete the character.
Delete the character. Okay, so the small is going to do what you're going to do the most. And most of the time you're going to delete a whole word. It's very seldom that you're going to delete a character, but if you need to delete a character, it's a Shift D. Okay? Because you're not going to use that as much or as often.
Or use the delete key on your computer keyboard. Sometimes you rewrite a line and then you want to delete it during editing. Control Y will delete or yank the text of the entire line. But Alt Y will only delete from your cursor position to the end of the line.
You see what it's doing right there? Write this down. Control Y does what?
Delete the line.
Deletes that whole line. It doesn't matter where you are in this sentence, it's going to delete that whole line. Okay? And Alt Y deletes from where that cursor is to the end of the line. So that sentence may be, and I think it's to the end of the sentence. And then Shift Alt Y, I think it's to the end of the paragraph. So if there's a paragraph, but it does it to the end of the line. So Control Y is what? Deletes a line. Alt Y
Delete to the end of the line.
to the end of the line, from wherever the cursor is to the end of the line, and then Shift Alt Y.
To the end of the paragraph.
Yeah, they're going to show you right here.
And Shift Alt Y will delete from cursor position to the end of the paragraph.
And that's what I was talking about. I misspoke, and I apologize. What it's going to do is, say you have your cursor right here, and you do the Alt Y, it's only going to go to here, no matter what, okay? But if you want the whole rest of it gone, that's where the Shift Alt Y goes to the end of that sentence or paragraph. So it may be a couple of sentences long, a couple of lines long, not sentences, a couple of lines long. Okay? Got it?
So
Guys,
they're
you're going to
considering
use that a lot.
So they're considering a line like they put it on the I, so the line up until the
It's
other
going to
I.
take this whole thing out right here.
Oh, okay.
Your speaker, everything. It's going to take everything out. It's going to delete that whole line.
Okay.
Not the sentence, the whole line. So the line starts right here. See where this little S is? It's going to take that whole line out. So be careful. Good, not good. Because it's like, oh, I want to get rid of this sentence. Control Y. Now your speaker's gone, everything's gone. How do you get it back?
I was
Z.
about to ask that.
Hey. God, now we want to teach a class. That is good. Z gets you back, okay? Z gets you back. So if you accidentally do mess up, and it's gonna happen,
But you have to catch it, right? Because you can't go too far.
yeah, you can't go in there, put the speaker in, start typing stuff, and then start pushing Z. It may go back, it may not. Probably not, okay? So be careful with that. Just push Z right away, and then it'll fix it, okay?
Let's say I included the wrong certificate page in this transcript. I could hit the Mark key, then Control page down to get to the end of the file, and then press the Delete key. Eclipse will ask if I really want to delete that much of the document, and in this case, I'll answer yes.
You got that? How do you mark?
Yeah.
M or?
Control.
Somebody just said it.
Oh, F7.
F7 will also mark. So F7 or M will mark, and then it's Control page down, or you can just arrow down and it'll mark it line by line. So if you just need a couple of lines, you can just arrow down and mark it, or it's Control page down, goes to the end of the document. Now, when you're deleting stuff like that, like large contents of stuff, Eclipse is always going to ask you, are you sure, dummy? This is what you want to do? You know, because they're always thinking, God, that's a lot. That is a lot. Did you really mean to do this? Did you really mean to create a file? Did you really mean to, you know, so they're always kind of have your back a little bit, okay? So it's kind of like having a partner. You know, it's always going to help you, okay? So that's why the oops key, that's why the are you sure you want to do this? Yes, I do. Then you just press yes, okay? Got it? Any questions? Oops, delete a line, delete to the end of the line, delete a paragraph, any of that? No? No? Very good. Very talkative today. I like that.
It's Monday.
Mm. Okay, so now it's kind of your turn. You can do, you know, kind of what they tell you to do. We're not always going to do that, okay? I mean, but this one's pretty simple, you know. You can go in there and make corrections, you know, and stuff like that. You see where it has it right here? Where it has this. So how would you fix that?
D.
Hmm?
Put the cursor on the extra S and hit D for delete
What's that gonna do?
character. It's gonna delete the, oh no, never mind. Shift D.
Shift D. If you put it on,
The S.
yes,
Extra S.
Shift D will take it off, okay? Or you can be right here. What else does it from here? What else does it? What shaves that next character?
S.
S. Okay? See, look what it's doing. You're on the character before, but you need this character deleted. You press S, that's what it does. So you don't have to move your cursor, arrow over, backspace, delete, Control, Shift, D. No. Shave it. Shave it. Got it?
Got it.
All right. Any questions about this lesson? Pretty short. Huh? No?
Yes.
Now trouble spots. I'm gonna make it larger.
Control shift.
Alt Shift
S.
F7.
What was that?
Seven.
Alt Shift F7.
What was that?
Okay.
Control shift
Alt
F7?
Shift
Control
F.
Shift.
Oh, Control.
Yeah. Okay. This is one of the most important lessons of the tutorial. You may want to go through it more than one time. After you have done this exercise in this lesson, you can help install lessons and get a fresh copy that will allow you to do the exercises again. Remember I was telling you about that? So you go through and you mess with the exercises. You want to read the thing back in. How do you do it?
You go to helping reinstall lesson.
Reinstall that lesson. You don't have to do all of them. Just remember which lesson you're in and then reinstall the lesson. Got it? Okay. So now we're going to talk about trouble scans, scans to untranslates, scans to conflict, scan to unresolved conflicts, and fill in the blanks. Okay?
Eclipse offers a large number of scans as well as multi-scan for quick editing of your document. You can scan forward or backward, looking for any of several items, but the most basic trouble spots are untranslates and unselected conflicts. Here's the toolbar icon to scan to trouble spots. It will stop on untranslates, conflicts that have not yet been selected, and blanks that have not yet been filled with information.
You see what they're talking about there? The three different things that they're talking about there, you get it?
Right, yeah.
So these are things that are not in your dictionary. Untranslates, it didn't tran. So you have nothing in there. This software has an artificial intelligence. So it'll kind of sometimes guess what you're trying to write. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not. You know, it's just guessing. You know, and maybe it's a brief that you just came up with. I can promise you M star K is not in there. Okay, that's mine. Because of the court that I sat in, we deal with managing conservators every day. And I guarantee you probably hear it 75 or 100 times a day where you hear managing conservator. Unridiculous. And I used to stroke it out. Man. 5 strokes for me. So when my wrist fell off one day, I realized this is too much. Possessory conservator, child support, you hear these things all the time. I didn't have any breeze for them. And like I said, you know, if somebody tells you that you can't get out of school without stroking, bull. I did. I don't do it anymore because I've learned to write smarter, not harder. So you work smarter, not harder, okay? So stuff that you're gonna hear all the time, and you use it now. Start doing it now to where you train your brain to listen for things. You know, and if you're taking, you know, a test about an automobile accident, and it was a Chevy truck, and they keep saying Chevy truck, Chevy truck. It's 3 strokes. Figure something out, you know? SH or SLUK, sluck. To me, it's the SH for the Chevy and the RUK for the truck. That's how I think. That's just how I think. You know, some people are going to look at sluck. No, I see it. You see it as sluck. I see it as shruck. Y'all get it? Y'all get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how my mind works. I'm going to hear it one time, and if I hear it again, it's like, I may stroke it again. I may stroke it twice. Now it ain't happening 3 times. If I know that it's going to keep on going, I'm not going to do it that many times. Unless it's just something that's real easy to stroke. Sometimes there is. Like Chevy wouldn't be real hard for me. I just made that as an example. Chevy truck wouldn't be real hard because it's not where G, R, R, J, whatever. You know, it's just a few letters in each stroke. So it's not that bad. But when you're taking a test now, and she's giving you those proper names, and it's Professor Lindquist, and you're gonna stroke that out every time? Let me know how that works out when you didn't pass it because Professor Lindquist was in there 39 times and you stroked it out every time. When you could have just done, you know, PROFL, Profl, Professor Lindquist, PROFL, or Prof. Lynn, Professor Lindquist. Quick. But when you're writing it down that you know, they give you the name and it's Professor Lindquist, out to the side you put PROFLIN. So when you're going through and editing, you're like, Prof. Lynn, all you do is go to your note. Oh yeah, that was Professor Lindquist. See where I'm going with this? Don't make it harder on yourselves. Work smarter and doing less to help yourself. Okay? But we were talking about the different things that untranslates, whatever. So this is not in your dictionary, so it's going to come up as an untranslate because it's in your notes, but it didn't know what you were meaning because maybe you do write needs and long EDZ, but you accidentally were going too fast and you put in a asterisk. It's like, I don't know if I need that, just put it in there. You can figure it out later. Learn to read through your trash a little bit too. You don't have to stroke everything perfect every time. Learn to read through your trash. Right here. For me, probably for everybody else, my weak fingers in school. So I just learned to read my trash. Okay? So you don't have to stroke everything correct. Learn how to read your trash. Okay? But that's what they're talking about.
Of course, it's faster to use hyperkey T or speed key control T, as in trouble. But you may want to target untranslates only, or go just to the next conflict, perhaps an unselected conflict. There are hyperkeys for these purposes, as well as speed keys. Multi-scan automatically repeats your last scan. So if I want to quickly go through my document, correcting untranslates, or
you see what it's doing there? So with this thing on, MLT means multi, okay? So what you're telling the software is that, you know what, I'm gonna go through this document first before I edit. I'm gonna take out all of my untranslates and stuff like that, my conflicts. So you start at page 1, you do C, and it's gonna go to the first conflict that you have. Or you press U and it's gonna go to the first untranslate you have, which was like the needs, okay? Once you correct it, global it, correct it, it's gonna go to the next one because you have MLT on. Got it? Yes?
Yes.
Got it? If you don't have that on, And you don't have to have it on. You don't. But then you're going to have to do U every time. U. Then it'll go to the next one, correct it. U. Go to the next one. Well, if you know you're going to correct all of them, just put it on multi. Okay? And that's what it's telling you to do. I'm going to back it up just a bit.
Multi-scan automatically repeats your last scan. So if I want to quickly go through my document, correcting untranslates, or resolving conflicts, then multi-scan would be the quickest way to go through my document.
Did you see that?
Then
Control, Shift, M. Write that down. That's a multi-scan. And if you want to turn it off, Control, Shift, M. We'll turn it on and off. Okay? Good to know.
multi-scan would be the quickest way to go through my document. If, however, you find that Eclipse loses your place after you create a global or resolve a conflict, check to see if you haven't accidentally turned multi-scan on.
So if you're going through the document and you see an unresolved conflict, you're like, oh, I see it a couple of lines ahead, I already know what it is, I'm going to go ahead and fix it. You press U, fix it, now it takes you, and you're on page 4, now it takes you to page 99, to the next unresolved conflict. You're like, oh my God, I don't even know what page I was on. Maybe it was 43. But you have no idea where you even were. 0. You try to press Z and it might take you back. Might not, but should. It should. And then just kind of fix it from there. But it's going to be because you had that MLT on. Okay? How do you turn it on?
Control Shift
Huh?
M.
Control Shift M. Turns it on and off. So if you get to the end of the document and that's how you know. All right? Okay, and we can try it right here. So if you want to, get right here at bot. Got it? How do you mark a spot? Shift X. Good. Shift X. See what it just did? That little boom. That just told you that it did something. Did y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Did everyone see that? Yeah. Okay. Everyone's done that. Everyone did that?
Yeah.
Okay, now press T. See how it took you to trouble? It's in a different color than black. Black is going to be the main. So if it's in black, it didn't resolve anything, or you don't have a conflict with anything. It just wrote it. It's in your dictionary. Everything's fine. If it's in a different color, red, green, highlighted, something's going on. Something else is happening. Okay? Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do we get back?
B. Control B. Shift B.
Huh?
Shift B.
Okay.
Shift V.
Shift V. Like, but go back. I don't know why it's V, but it's, we go back.
Like Vamonos Patras.
Vamonos.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was good.
Shift Z is
Go, my friend.
Ooh.
That's me.
But I have been, that it takes you right to your last end.
you know when it Let me see.
No, X marks the spot and V will take you back to said spot.
And it does. Shift Z does the same thing too.
Oh.
It does. Very good. I was testing you.
I was like, I have it written down in my
Hey, why you
You're
yelling?
wrong.
Here, come teach a class.
I'm on my way.
I don't even know why I'm in here. Everybody knows everything. Very good though. Very good.
So both shift B.
Shift
and-
B or
right?
Shift Z will take you back. Yes, sir.
In the video, a lot when you hit or in the video, it allows you to type in what you meant. How
Yeah.
come when it takes you to trouble, it doesn't pop up that window? You know what I'm saying?
Because it's already. When you do T, is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Because T is going to take you to something that's already been translated.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just going to come out in red. Then maybe it conflicts with something else. But it's already fixed it. But if you need to put in something else, put in something else. And how would you do that?
And
And just insert something else. Or if you needed to global it and change it,
G. Press G.
G, very good. Speak up, guy. Laryngitis was. I'm not, if I look at you, it's probably because,
On here.
yeah. And I'm asking you to say it again. And it's not that you're wrong. You might be. But you weren't. You weren't either. Very good. Okay, so how do we come into a field? We covered this last week.
Until what?
Enter a field.
Oh, snap. Oh, that was.
Is it
E. Guys,
That was my next.
follow me a little bit. I know it's only a couple of weeks, but follow me with what I'm telling you. Okay, because I'm going to almost probably give you the answers most of the time. So how do you enter a field?
E.
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 See?
How come it says dance karate? No witness.
Because he's a weird.
Oh, that was
Okay, any questions about that?
nice.
No?
No.
All right.
And here it is.
Let's see how to quickly select steno strokes to perform global replacements. In the Edit section of User Settings, you'll see the option Global After Scan. If there's a check in that box, here's what it does. When I scan to the next untranslate, Eclipse will automatically highlight one stroke of steno for globaling. If I need additional strokes for globaling, I can simply press Ctrl G as in global. Well, what if I scan to an...
You see what it did?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the Control G comes in, where I was telling you about, okay? So if you have it on the multi and it goes down to the next one, all you have to do is press Control G. And it should add. You know what? And I think, I don't really do it. I don't really use it, so I don't really know. But I think if you push the G and you need more, then you just have to push Control G. Because if you push G, just G again, like you're gonna global more stuff, now it's gonna start typing. Because it's gonna bring up that little box, remember? So once you push G in hyperkeys, you're telling the software you only need one stroke. Okay? Got that?
Yeah.
But if you need more, just press Control G, and then in that little box, I think it just keeps adding like it just did. Did you see what it just did? I'm gonna rewind it just a bit.
strokes for globaling, I can simply press Ctrl G as in global.
So it's gonna bring up this little box when you do G, okay? And if you need it again, you saw what it did. It just added the extra stroke with the Control G, not G again, okay?
I just highlight the word. I highlight the word.
You mark it?
No, I highlighted when I'm editing mine. I just highlight it and then hit Control G and it pops up the same way. Does the same thing.
How do you highlight it?
I'm not using anything in Eclipse to highlight. I use my mouse. But I'm just saying.
Okay, and that's why she's never going to be the teacher. Right there.
I mean, but it just
Never.
seems easier than
And she
doing
may
Control
get one
G,
of these. I'm
G.
not
Hey, I
sure.
like the 90s.
I just, huh?
I see what you mean. You can
Yeah.
use and
You know what?
mark it.
Guys,
Yeah.
in teaching this is all just suggestions. Okay? I don't care how you do it. I really don't. If you find it easier to mark it with the mouse, help yourself. Okay? This software is trying to teach you not to move your fingers off of that thing. It's so much quicker, and it's going to save you time. And you think, oh, it's just a 0.2 of a second. I don't really care.
I
You start
learned how to do
doing,
that before taking the class, guys. I learned
Yeah.
to do that before taking the class.
yeah. And that's why she's not going to teach the class. No. But, I mean, if you learn it that way, and it does the same thing, I don't really care how you do it. And you're going to see through these videos that they're going to teach you a lot of different ways of doing all these things. You can do it through the icons. You can do it through the production, blah, 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 little things up on top where it has the words up here. Or you can just do the speed keys. You can come over here in the magic keys and press 1. All they're doing is giving you different ways of doing it. Whatever's easiest for you, do it.
So what about when it comes to you're ready to take your state exam? You have to go this route, or do you go what you're comfortable with?
You get graded
Whatever
on that
gets you
paper
faster.
you
Right,
turn
yeah.
in.
You
You don't get graded on how you got there.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna not pass. You're not gonna
Not
pass.
pass. It's a troublemaker.
We know what you mean, sir.
Yeah.
If you will teach the class, you're back in.
You're back in.
Yeah. Because you use the mouse and use Control G. They don't know how you did it. They don't care how you did it, as long as you did it right.
That's right.
It doesn't really matter. Okay? So it doesn't really matter. And they're gonna show you about 3 or 4 different ways of doing everything. And whatever works for you, use it. Just stay consistent. Okay? What were we gonna ask? About 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. I forgot.
But that's how you do it. So if you do the G, oh man, it's more than one. Don't Control G. You can do Control G. You can do it 80 different times. Pay attention to this video because they're going to show you something else too.
Well, what if I scan to and translate, and the steno that I need to add does not come after, but before the untranslate? Here's where the arrows come in handy. You can target steno that comes before your starting point, or after it, although you can use the mouse to point and click. Keyboard
See where it's telling you can use a mouse to point and click, whatever, or you can use these little arrows, whatever. Okay? They don't really care how you get there. Just get there. Okay?
commands are generally faster. Your keyboard's up-down arrows will add or subtract steno in front of your starting point, while Control down or Control up will add or subtract steno after your starting point.
See what it's telling you right there? Do I get that? Yes or no? Because let me rewind a little.
Although you can use the mouse to point and click, keyboard commands are generally faster. Your keyboard's up-down arrows will add or subtract steno in front of your starting point, while Control down or Control up will add or subtract steno after your starting point.
You see what they're telling you?
Right.
So it's just a Control up or down to either add or subtract more steno that you needed.
Yeah.
Okay?
Of course, you do not have to use automatic global after scan. I prefer to use hyperkeys that make it possible to select multiple.
Pay attention right here. This is good stuff too. I don't use it, but it's pretty good stuff.
Steno strokes with one button. So here, instead of having to press Control G 5 times, I can just use hyperkey 0 to catch the 5 strokes with one button.
So, question, so could we do the M to mark it and then do the Control O, did she say? Or 0?
It's
I think
zero.
it's
Zero.
It's 0.
And then
It's not
high-
O. It's 0.
Because O is
I don't
right.
think so. I think
Okay.
once you've marked it, it doesn't know what you're doing after that.
Okay.
So all you do is if you're in hyperkeys, and guys, this is where I'm telling you, pay attention. This is where I'm telling you, use this. Because if you notice, and I'm gonna play it again,
To select multiple steno strokes with one button. So here,
see how it's telling you hyperkey 7890? On some people's computers, it doesn't work. It's the Alt 7890. And yeah, it's a 7890.
One at a time or all at the same time?
One at
No,
a time.
one at a time,
So if
depending on
it's
which
2
one.
strokes, it's 7. If it's 3, it's 8. If it's 4, it's 9. If it's 5, so you have a 5-stroke word. And you just want to mark it real quick. You know it's 5, 0. That's it. But it might be Alt 0 on yours. So you have to mess with this a little bit, okay? If you want to use that. Guys, I'm telling you, the next time I use it will be the first time I use it.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I can do it just as fast as doing Control G 5 times. Is that the right way to do it? Is it the best way to do it? For me, it is. You know what? I know how to do it that way. Whichever way works for you, do it. That's it. Simple. Easy. Got it? Are you bored? A little bit?
instead of having to press Control G 5 times, I can just use hyperkey 0 to catch the 5 strokes with one button.
Got
Did
it?
it just say don't be that guy? Is that
Huh?
what it said?
Did it say don't be that guy?
Don't be that guy that uses G 5 times. I'm just kidding, don't play it again. It didn't say that.
I'm gonna play it now.
Use hyperkeys. So here, instead of having to press Control G 5 times, I can just use hyperkey 0 to catch the 5 strokes with one button.
I told you it didn't say that.
See, now you're just trying to start trouble. They didn't say that. All right. Did it?
No.
They got you today.
All right. Any questions about that?
9.
How do you mark? Global
M.
M.
So how do you global or mark?
or global? Global.
G.
G.
G. And more than one? Say it's 2.
G. Another G. Control G.
Another G. Control G.
Or 7.
Control G. Or
7 or Alt 7.
7 or Alt 7 for 2 strokes.
For 2 strokes.
And for 5,
0.
4,
9,
9.
3.
8.
Very good. Ah.
I agree.
How do you say what your steno means? Total Eclipse lets you global at a glance. Glance at the list, pick the choice. It's that easy. Ordinary CAT systems may try to use a basic phonetics table and the spelling dictionary to try to guess what you're globaling. This approach is typically not very successful and easily produces nonsense suggestions that only wind up adding steps to the globaling process. In contrast, Total Eclipse Global Magic is a sophisticated blend of several powerful tools. It's amazingly accurate, and it requires no extra steps. Here, with one button, I've marked 4 steno strokes for a global replacement. Eclipse,
Which would be what?
No, 9.
Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, all of those. Which one is it for 4?
Oh, was I wrong?
4,
No.
9.
9. God. Okay, so now it marked it. Now it put it in there. So now it's going to start guessing what you're trying to do. Remember? Guys, don't make this harder than it needs to be. This thing is going to help you. Okay? So it's always going to guess, and it may not even have the right one. Maybe this is your stroke for imparanormal. You know, I'm just making stuff up. But maybe it's not one of the guesses. So what? Just start typing. Put it in there. No big deal. But it's going to guess what it thinks you're trying to do by the way that you write, and it remembers what you've done. So the more you use it, the more it remembers what you're doing. Remember? We talked about this.
automatically generates a short list of suggestions using intelligent phonetics. No need to type, or press the Alt key or scroll or use the mouse. Glance at the list, press 1, then either press Enter or place this in any dictionary I need. Total Eclipse understands it's easy to drag or drop keys when you're writing complicated steno like vancomycin. A glance at the list, the right choice jumps out at me. Choice 1.
So don't make it harder. Just press 1. Don't start typing in vancomycin. I don't know if it's spelled correctly. If it's in there, it's probably going to be correct. They're usually not going to give you an example that isn't correct, usually. But if you have any, you know what, I think it's vancomycin. Okay, well they only gave me vancomycin. Well, put vancomycin, it's still going to come here and ask you, are you sure that's what you want? Put your cursor right here and put ITE. That's all you do. You don't have to type out the whole word again, okay? So it's going to give you shortcuts to that too. Got it?
I won't put this in a dictionary, but I'll just apply it to the rest of the job. So your steno doesn't have to be perfect to take advantage of global magic. This time I dragged in the number bar. Total Eclipse understands. Choice 1 and enter. Total.
You see what it's doing there too? The artificial intelligence is that smart that it thinks for you. So even if you accidentally
Press
the number bar and you used all of those letters together, it's like, well, maybe you did need all of those numbers together. Or maybe you meant to type assume.
This time I...
See? How it, you know, it typed in the O, the OU. Really,
It's a
it's not.
That's a 0.
It's a 0. It's not going to type in. So that's what's going to give it the clue, is that the U is in there. All right? Because the U shouldn't be in there. Okay? So now it's thinking, well, did you mean to do that, or did you mean to type assume?
Drag in the number bar. Totally.
See how it gives you so many different options? And it's going to give you that many options. Oh man, I meant to type in assume. No big deal. Press 1, go on.
Eclipse understands. Choice 1 and enter. Total Eclipse understands steno stacking. Choice 1. The suffix s.
You see what it's doing right there too? It understands stacking. Okay, so when you stack stuff and you global it, and it's like, because if you read this sentence, it says, assume there are many cities you have worked in. So you stack 3 strokes together, unless you type you have VU. I don't know. Maybe. Shouldn't, but whatever. Maybe you do. No big deal. But I think they're telling you that they did 3 strokes that they stacked together. See how it gives you that option right there? It's already thinking ahead of what you're doing. Because it's reading the sentence and it's asking, makes more sense like this. But did you mean have us versus you, us have? I don't know. It's just going to give you examples, okay?
Followed by you have. We'll see it applied with intelligent spelling adjustments. How many times do you retype text as you're defining different ways of writing new names or terms in a job? Here I have a job dictionary entry for Tetra Technologies. The next time I wrote it, it's stacked with the period. No problem. Total Eclipse understands steno stacking.
You see how it understands that? So once you put it in that dictionary, whether it's your main job or a trash dictionary, and we'll talk about these later, but regardless of whether you put it in one of these, it's going to know. Well, the last time you typed anything close to that, it was this. Do you mean this? Or did you mean totem? Maybe you meant totem. Maybe. I don't know. But it's always thinking ahead. And trust me, you don't want to have to type that in every time. Tetra Technologies. Every time. So it's going to know.
Choice 2, and it automatically offers to place this capitalized text in the job dictionary. Enter. Most of the time you'll probably find that the suggestion you need is at the top of the list. But if Eclipse has not guessed properly, just start typing. No additional steps are needed to make the glance list disappear. A quick note. A little tweaking of your phonetics table can really help Total Eclipse tune in to your writing style. Although Global Magic combines many sophisticated features, it's easy to use, even for editing from the steno keyboard. It can help you to quickly read your steno, greatly reduce your typing, and the more you use it, the better it gets.
Got it?
Yes.
The more you use it, the better it gets. The more you use it, the better it gets. The more, say it with me. Yes, the better it gets, okay? So if you're typing in all the time and just typing stuff in, guess what? It doesn't know in, okay? It doesn't know insert. Now you're just using it as a keyboard, okay? And there are times that you need that insert. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's not good to use it all the time. Use
It all the time.
Use it, okay? Use the software, because the more you use it, the more it's going to become familiar with what you're doing. Got it? Any questions about that? Okay, this is the kind of your turn little deal or whatever. And for some reason, and this is why there's some things with it that I don't understand. So it's telling you right here, and I tried messing with it before, but it says press Alt 8 to highlight 3 strokes that you want to define for your dictionary, okay? And that's what they did. They have 3 strokes right there. So I'm in hyperkeys, and it tells me just push 8, and I did. It didn't highlight. So it may have been something that I just need to read the thing back in again. I also tried Alt-8, and it kind of did the same thing. So I may have already messed with it a little bit to where it already kind of messed it up, so I may need to do it. So get in there, get right here to dictionary, and try the 8. See what it does.
It gave me it is.
I'm sorry?
It gave me it is.
It is?
I-O-N.
Huh?
That's what came out. It
is?
I-O-N. When I did the 8.
Do the Z. Go back.
See? Yeah, I was beginning and I did 8. See?
See, it doesn't. I don't know why it's doing it.
So that's what you're talking about.
Did anybody get it to work?
Yours worked? No, she got the same.
I was lost, I was like, where? I was like,
Come up with definition for some reason.
She got definition.
Yeah, I did that. I got definition too.
You did?
I did all 8.
Did you get it?
No. Mine gave me definition also.
Definition? Well, that's what he said. Definition.
Yeah, but it didn't delete the rest of it.
Take off the I-O-N.
Yeah.
Oh, took me all the way back up to the.
If I take off my sweater. Yeah, so yeah, we read
It's on page 5. See the phone number? All the way down.
because I did a meeting.
Guys, I don't know why, and it's doing it with everyone's computers, and that's why I don't like it. That's why I don't use it, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know, you know. So on the multi-mark, I don't really care. So do it here, and we'll try another little exercise, the one that I was talking about. So you're in hyperkeys, right? Everybody in the same spot? She awake? All right. Do G.
G.
Okay. Well, you know it's more than that, remember? So what did I tell you to do? Control G. So do Control G with 2 more. So do
Yeah.
Control G 2 more times.
I just deleted the other stuff.
I don't know if that's the way you stroke dictionary. It's not for me. Dictionary. But
Nothing came out.
I think that's what they were trying to do there, was dictionary. Okay? D-I-K-S or D-I-K-G. G-S is the shun, remember? So you can do the B, G-S with the iction. Okay? Dictions. All right? So dictionary. I don't know why they did the shun, diction, because this is already diction. Chun-ri. Oh, they were doing, yeah, it's X. So they were doing dix, chun-ri. Really? Whatever. I mean, yeah, whatever. So, for some reason, it didn't bring up their little multi-box or whatever, so just type it in. All right? It already knows that it's going to go in the main. Don't press enter. See what you get? That's what you get. That's what you get. Don't. Unless you want to start teaching that class, you know, and that's you know, in like this, it may not put it in your dictionary. I don't know. It may have. No big deal. You don't stroke it that way anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So it's not going to be that big of a deal, okay? But I'm saying don't put it in there because unless you stroke it like that, don't put it in there, okay? But I'm telling you how to do it. That's how to do it. So even if you do G and it's like, oh man, it was 3 more strokes, what do? Control G.
Control G.
Guys, are y'all here? All right, any questions about that?
So when you're starting off with Eclipse, whose dictionary do you get? Is it a basic dictionary and then you build it from there?
You know, like y'all are so much more advanced than I was. You know, I mean, don't laugh, but I mean, computers were really coming out back when I got out. I mean, it was green. That was it. Green letters.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. You know, and it was just, that computer was about that big, and the hard drive thing was that big. I mean, it was huge. This thing was huge. You know? So what we had to do was usually get a dictionary from someone else that we thought kind of wrote like us, had already been out a little while, another reporter. Holy cow. You know, and
what a time to be alive.
yeah. I mean, but it helped out a little bit, but I mean, some stuff, I mean, I had to change in my dictionary, so it might have been just easier just to do my own dictionary. You guys can start from ground zero, really. And the way that StenEd teaches you to write, they already have those strokes in there. So they have the basic strokes in there. So you already start with the basics, and then you build it up to whatever you want. You know, and just because you write something some way, you know, she may write it a totally different way. She can still read it. You know what, I can make it out, you know, whatever, but that's not the way that I write. I don't write dictionary, dictionary.
I thought you stroked everything out.
I do. I don't stroke it like that. I would have done it diction-re, not diction, shun, re. It's one more stroke than you need. Yeah.
So like, how do you change like a stroke? Because like, if I put RI, it translated to like Record Florida or something. And how do I change that to just R?
Record Florida?
Yeah, it's weird.
I was gonna ask the same thing out of class. Like, if you misstroke something, it's
Yeah.
gonna automatically guess, and it, like for me, it throws me completely off. Like, I misspelled work. I put E instead of O, and like, I don't even know what it was. What the hell? And I had to go back to my steno, look at it, and see that it's supposed to be work.
Yeah.
And then I had to go.
Well, there's a
back
way of going into your dictionary and just finding it, and then you can change it in your dictionary. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I mean just to like turn it off completely, like the artificial intelligence. I just want it to be steno. Like if I misstroke something, I want it to stay in steno. I don't want it to guess because it throws me off, and sometimes it adds words and they'll be in black.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? And I'll go back to my steno. I'm like, I didn't even type that.
That's the artificial intelligence
Yeah.
working.
Is there any way I can turn that off?
Yeah, there is. And we'll get to it. I'll have to mess with it a little bit, but it's in your user settings. So it's in the Alt-U. And I'll have to mess with it a little bit because I haven't done it in a long time. They really tell you not to turn it off because it, you know, the intelligence is what helps you, okay? But, you know, if you're trying to build your dictionary, then, you know, but it's always gonna help you, okay? So even if it's typing it wrong, just global it and type it in right.
But how do I like change it? Like, can I change it to like?
That's probably in your dictionary. It might be in your dictionary. So you have to be real careful, and we went over this, not really in depth, but about prefixes and suffixes. And we're gonna get into it really in depth. No, you know what? We really didn't get into it. We didn't, because there's a way of defining it in your dictionary when you global it, because even if it's redirect, well, you know it's redirect every time, but you don't want to put it in as 2 words. I mean, you don't want to put it in as 1 word. You want to put it in as 2 words because it's redirect. So re can stand by itself all the time if you stroke it correctly. Listen to what I'm telling you. If you stroke it correctly. So RE is always going to be a prefix. Okay? But if you accidentally slide in that
Snag another
U,
key.
and now you do it RI, now it thinks it's a suffix. So now it's going to be the RY.
But like, it used to do that, and now I don't know what happened. Now it's like.
I'll have to look at it. But it's real easy to fix. It's easy to fix, so we'll fix it. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it. Is it something you need now?
I mean, no, not really. It's just, it takes me forever on my tests, because I use RI a lot. Like, not as a suffix, I mean, not as a prefix, but like suffix. And it'll do like
Okay.
half my word, and then, like I said, I'll do like River Florida or something. I don't know what's.
River,
I'll
Florida.
have to like, I'll have to bring my.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I mean, whether it's River, Florida or not,
Yeah.
but I mean, it just types something totally
Like, I don't know.
Rhode
It's
Island.
very- yeah.
Like Rhode Island?
It's not Rhode Island.
Because RI, you know, could be, I mean, that's what mine is, my brief for Rhode Island. So it could be Rhode Island, whatever, but it could be River, Florida.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
But no big deal. It's something we can fix. It's not that hard, you know. And if you go through and you come into W, and it may not have it, but check and see if there's an RY as one of your endings. And if so, then every time you have an RY, then just push W on that word, and it'll take out that River, Florida, and put it on there, on that word. You see what I'm saying? But, huh?
Kinda.
Let me see
Like,
it.
if it comes up, hit like the W. Is that what you're saying?
Let's see. I. Okay. That's how you do it. Write this down. What?
Okay, wait.
Look. Look at what it's doing. Okay?
One more time.
So you're going to go into
W. Right?
W.
go into your blank screen of Eclipse. You know what? Let's go off for just a second.
Sorry.
No, I'll get it. I'll get it.